Welcome back to another episode of In Brandon. My name is Randi Curry, and I'm joined here today with Dennis. Dennis, you are the program director for the Shoal Lake Airshow, correct?
That's right.
Now, you have many other titles you were telling me about earlier. Could you go through those for us?
I could. I'm the president of the Shoal Lake Flying Club. I'm the chair of the Airshow committee and the program director, and I'm actually also the safety director.
Busy man.
Yes, it has been busy.
Many hats to go on that head, hey?
That's right, yeah.
So you're speaking of the Shoal Lake Flying Committee, right? Now, it's a very important date coming up for Shoal Lake. It is the 25th anniversary of not only the flying school, but also really just flight in general in Shoal Lake. Tell us a little bit about 25 years.
Okay, yeah. In 1991, the airport in Shoal Lake was built with a federal grant, one of the last ones actually in Canada. So we were very fortunate to qualify for that. The airport was finished in late 1991 and opened in 1992. The Shoal Lake Flying Club was formed in late 1991 as well, and has had a very active role in operating the airport since that date. And in 1992, the Shoal Lake Aviation, the flight school at the airport was formed as well. So it's really 3 anniversaries all rolled into one. And all 3 of those entities, the airport and the flying club and the flight school, just sort of fit together like hand in glove. We wouldn't be where we are 25 years later if all 3 of them hadn't been active over that amount of time. That's
a great accomplishment to have so many flight programs and different, well, even the airport, Brandon being the size it is, has an airport as well, but just recently. So to have Shoal Lake have this is a big deal, right?
Yeah, it is. Rural airports are very important, of course, for a lot of reasons. There are a number of them. So yeah, over that time, besides the things we've mentioned, of course, air ambulance flies into there. There's lots of recreational flying. STARS is a pretty regular visitor right now. So there's, all kinds of services. Aerial application since day one has been a big thing, but that's only been growing as farming practices change. And so yeah, every airport's important. Rural airports serve their communities, and it's kind of all a network that fits together, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great service that you can provide to rural Manitoba. So 25 years is a huge accomplishment, as we've talked about, and you guys are going to celebrate in a huge way, I hear. Snowbirds?
Yes, that's right. Actually, what happened in 1992 is our young club, we were pretty naive. After we got it formed, we said, why don't we try to get the snowbirds? And so we did, and we're successful. So we held an air show in 1992 to celebrate the opening of the airport. It was a huge success. And so as the 25th anniversary was getting closer, it was kind of in the back of our minds that we would try and do this again. So actually 3 years ago, the club was in a solid financial position, and we put away some money for seed money and started asking around our community whether there was support for another show, because it does require the whole community, as you can imagine. Mm-hmm. And the answer was yes, there was, and support in terms of people volunteering, but also financial support. People said, well, we might not be able to help, but we could, certainly support you financially. And so 2 years ago, we submitted an application. They have to go in that far in advance, and found out actually in mid-December last year that the snowbirds were coming to Shoal Lake for an air show in July. So it was very exciting. Yeah.
That's very exciting. So that air show in July is July 11th and 12th.
That's
and
correct.
It's not just the snowbirds rather, sorry. It's a whole celebration for the Shoal Lake Flying Club in general, right?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about everything that's going to be going on that weekend for everyone.
Sure. So on the 11th, which is actually Tuesday, small shows generally don't get weekends with the snowbirds. But so on the Tuesday night, the 11th, starting at 6 o'clock, we're going to have an event at the Communiplex, which is Meet the Performers. So the snowbirds will come out. It's going to be around supper time. There will be a meal, not a real formal meal, but there will be food, of course. You always have to have food. And the other performers will be there as well. So Bill Carter, who flew our initial air show in 1992, is coming back again.
Wow, what symmetry. That's so cool.
Yeah, and he's been tremendously supportive. He actually flew in another air show that we had in between. Born and raised in Killarney, and now lives in Alberta. But as soon as I told him we had the snowbirds, he said, "When is it? I'll be there." So you just can't beat those connections.
No, those snowbirds, they bring a lot in to communities.
Yeah,
they're really
they do.
Great.
Yeah, and we also have Pete McLeod, who, if you know Pete McLeod, you'll probably know him as the Red Bull racer. He's flying as well, so we're really excited about that. And airplanes from the Western Canadian Air Training Plan Museum here in Brandon, and a number of other ones as well that will be flying. And there'll be static displays of aircraft as well, of interesting aircraft as well. So yeah, that's...
So we've talked about the sky, everything that's happening, which sounds like it's going to be a very full sky for you guys.
Yeah.
Now, what's happening on the ground? Any activities going on down there?
Yeah, so on the 11th, we'll have a car show, radio-controlled aircraft. I'm hoping that we'll have a hot air balloon. That's been a little difficult. We're waiting to hear whether one in particular will be able to come, but many people have never seen a hot air balloon be inflated, and it would do tethered flights, but it's a pretty awe-inspiring thing if you've never experienced it, so we're hopeful for that. We have a couple of surprises that we're not talking a lot about, but yeah, there'll be music, there'll be lots of things going on the 11th. The 12th is the actual air show, which will take place at the airport. And same thing there, the car show will move to the airport for that day, and lots of other activities as well. So yeah, it'll be the air show grounds on the 12th, the Wednesday, will open at 3. We need people to come early because there isn't any parking at the airport. Everybody will be parked in town and bussed out. And so I don't know if it happens in Brandon, but in rural communities, people typically come at the last minute. And if that happens, there's just no way we can get everybody in. So that's why that's why we've got lots of activities. As I said, there'll be static aircraft that people can access from 3 till 6 o'clock. We're hoping to have radio-controlled aircraft flying there from 6 till 7. Show starts at 7. And we want everybody in by 7, not just people coming to watch it, but also all our parking staff. Right. And so the last round of bus trips will be at 6:45. And so anybody who can come early needs to. So those who can't will get in. And so that's, yeah, a really important message that we want to emphasize.
Make sure they come early.
Early. As early as you can. There'll be lots to do.
Good.
It'd be nice to get in there, relax, there'll be food and everything else, so you don't have to worry about supper. And yeah, show will go from 7 till about 9. And again, the show line will open if people want to see the static aircraft. If they haven't been able to come early, then they have time to check things out afterwards while everybody's being bussed back to their cars.
Sounds like you guys have thought of everything.
Probably not, but we've tried.
You're really rolling out the red carpet for this 25th. It's very elaborate. There's a lot going on. A lot for every age group, or is it more geared to certain ages? Or?
No, we're really trying to involve every age group. We actually have a program that we've offered to schools in the area called Engaging Students. So we're trying to build awareness about aviation in general. That was one of our original Flying Club goals. And so in the classrooms where people are participating in that program, the students will get a free admission. And so we're really trying to encourage young people to come. And so yeah, we have to make sure that when they do, there's things for them to do. So
Right.
yeah, should be lots for everybody.
That's wonderful. Okay, now you've thought of everything.
Well,
You keep surprising me with more things. And you said, speaking of surprises, that you are not telling us about a few things happening.
yeah, there's a few things that we're trying to sort of keep quiet.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Great. So tickets, if I wanted to go and get some tickets, how would I do that?
Well, actually, last weekend we had our annual social, and we kicked off online discounted admissions. So they're available at our website, www.slairshow2017.ca. There's an admissions tag there. We have an online store. And so, yeah, they're discounted 20%, and that'll be open until June the 11th. So anybody who's thinking of attending, pretty sure they can make it early, then they can buy their tickets now.
And can you buy them anywhere else after June 11th?
They'll only be available at the parking lots then. Okay. And at the normal price. One of the reasons for the month in between there is because we're mailing them out. So the online store transaction then goes to the person that's managing that. And the simplest way for us is just to mail them out. So we have to have a break in there. And the other thing, of course, if the online store was open until the day of the show, people would probably put off buying them till then. So this, you know, that's an advantage for us, because then we get a sense of the interest there is in the show, which is very helpful to know.
Yes, of course.
So, and that's been good. It's just been a week that the online store has been open, and yeah, we've had transactions, not a huge number, but certainly every day there's 2 or 3 sales. So
the interest is growing.
Yep, so this will help.
Yes, I'm sure this will grow interest. Everything from classic cars to snowbirds. Now, speaking of snowbirds, you were telling me that they're not going to be based out of Shoal Lake, but rather the Brandon Airport. So if there's anybody who can't make it out to Shoal Lake, you can catch the snowbirds taking off and coming in at the Brandon Airport here in town, right?
Yeah, so as in 92, the snowbirds will fly the show out of Brandon. Our airport isn't long enough for them to safely operate, and we just don't have enough parking area and so on. Yeah, the Brandon Flight Center and the Brandon Airport has been very cooperative, and so they'll arrive here on the 11th. My guess would be 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, something like that. And actually a snowbird's arrival is like a mini air show. And so yeah, for anybody who's interested in seeing them arrive, I would strongly suggest you go to the airport. And they'll be parked there the 11th, the 12th, and they'll leave the morning of the 13th to their next show, which is actually in Lethbridge, Alberta. So lots of opportunities to see them on the ground. Yeah. Yes,
many opportunities. That's great. Anything else you'd like to share with us today, Dennis?
I don't think so. I think that's captured most of the things that I was hoping to share with your audience, and I really appreciate the opportunity to do it.
No, of course, we love hearing about it, and it'll be a great event for everybody to go on out and see and enjoy on a beautiful summer day. So
and we're hoping for that beautiful summer day.
Yes, blue skies. It will be blue skies.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining me today here in studio.
You're welcome.
Brandon, again, I'm Randi Curry, and I'm joined here with Dennis, the chair of the Shoal Lake Flying Club, amongst many other titles this man actively is. And thank you for joining us. Go on out July 11th and 12th to Shoal Lake. Enjoy the snowbirds, the classic cars, tons of family events, but get there early, nice and early.
That's correct.
Have a great day, Brandon.